At insuremyride.com.au, we know what it's like on the bike. So our bike insurance is only for bike riders. Whatever you ride, road, off-road and even scooter. Don't get ripped off. Insure your ride online and save 25%.
G'day, I'm Guy Allen. Welcome to Motorcycle TV. We've been playing with something a little out of the box recently. It's a Benelli TnT 899. Now this is part of a growing Benelli family of motorcycles. This one's a big liquid-cooled triple cylinder claiming about 118 horsepower, and certainly first impressions are the horsepower claim is no exaggeration. So what do you get with the machine? Well, it's Italian, so you get Mazzocchi front suspension. They're actually pretty hefty bits of gear, about 50mm diameter. You also get a Sachs rear shock and Brembo brakes. It's no lightweight particularly, it's near enough to 200 kilos dry, and it carries about 16 litres of fuel. So what's it like? Well, I actually got to really like this bike. It's got a ton of character, lovely growl out of the engine, quite a flexible engine, you've got a lot of mid-range. It's actually quite a practical tune for the street. I'm sure they could have got more horsepower out of it, but the way they've gone to get some flexibility out of this engine, I really support that. I think it's great, suits the bike. Relatively quick steering, not super quick, but certainly quick. It's precise, you know exactly what's going on underneath you. Suspension's good. Suspension set, it really is road suspension, it's not racetrack suspension, and it works well because of that. Plenty of adjustment in there, of course. Overall as a package, nicely finished. A couple of irritating little things. One in particular was the ignition keys buried down into a little tunnel above the steering head there. That's just an annoyance. I mean, you can get to it, but it's a bit fiddly. The bike really didn't want to let you find neutral sometimes, so the gear shift, admittedly on a relatively young bike, was a bit on the notchy side. Overall though, thoroughly enjoyable package, a real hoot, and it sort of brings a bit of the inner rat bag out in you. Now the pricing, it's about 15.5, so it's not particularly cheap for a naked bike of that capacity, but I think that once you'd paid over the money, now that's 15.5 plus on road, so it's well over 16 by the time it's in your hands, but I think once you'd paid over the money and started riding the thing, I have a sneaking suspicion you'd forget what you'd actually paid for it. It's a real fun little piece of machinery.